So 2008, Pep Guardiola of course did join Barcelona, and he changed the game which we love absolutely forever. His tactics and philosophy transformed Barcelona into a dominant force. Let's break down exactly how he did it. So formation wise, of course, Guardiola typically did line up in a 4-3-3 formation. This setup provided the perfect balance between attack and defence, allowing the team to control the game in all areas of the pitch. Positional play, one of Guardiola's key concepts was positional play. Players occupied certain zones on the pitch, ensuring structure and creating multiple passing options at all times of the game. High pressing. Barcelona under Guardiola employed a high pressing game. The aim was to recover the ball as quickly as possible after losing it. The immediate pressing, often within the first 5 to 10 seconds of losing the ball, disrupted the opposition sort of counter-attacking and getting their sort of play style going, meaning Barcelona were able to regain possession very quickly. Possession. We know exactly how good Pep Guardiola is at this even today with his Man City team. The possession was key. Barcelona used short, quick passes known as Tiki Taka to dominate the game. The style wore down opponents and created space through constant movement and precise passing sequences. Building from the back, as today, back then was still a massive thing. Play often started from the goalkeeper and the centre-backs using short passes. This drew the opposition forward, creating space in the midfield and attacking areas. Players like Piqué and Carlos Puyol were crucial in using these plays. What a good throwback that is. Midfield trio obviously consisted of Sergio Busquets, Xavi and Andres Iniesta. They were the engine of the team. Busquets acted more of a deep-lying playmaker. Xavi orchestrated as the playmaker with the vision, and Iniesta added creativity and dribbling prowess. So really, those three midfield players are probably like something we're never going to see again. They all sort of went together and moulded into a perfect trio. Wingers like Lionel Messi, Thierry Henry and Pedro provided width, stretching the opposition defence. Fullbacks such as Dani Alves and Arik Abidal supported by making overlapping runs. Up front, strikers like Samuel Eto'o provided depth, occupying defenders and creating space in behind. Of course, one of the key things is going to be the famous false nine role, which Messi did occupy a fair bit when he was obviously at Barcelona. One of Guardiola's interventions was using Messi as a false nine. Instead of staying up front, Messi dropped into midfield, creating overloads, dragging defenders out of position and opening up space for other players. This usually works very well, still in the modern day football game, but unfortunately, it's slowly dying out. Defensively, Barcelona maintained a high line and stayed compact, reducing space for the opposition. They used certain trigger presses, like a poor touch or backward pass, that would usually trigger them to hit them with a high press and make sure they regain possession. When it come back to them winning the ball, Barcelona transitioned quickly with short passes to exploit the oppositions, because usually they are going to be quite disorganised, so it's quite easy to, get the ball going, get the ball moving with quick passes, get in behind, loads of different players coming in different areas, and it's an absolute nightmare to play against. So after losing the ball, they would go right back to regain possession, high pressing, and they would go and go and go until they won the ball back, and once they've got the ball back, they can carry on doing exactly what they're best at. But really, Pep's time at Barcelona will always be remembered, that 2008 season of course, and it will always go down in the history books. He'll be remembered for the pressing, the passing, the tiki-taka, just how they played changed football forever. So today, we're going to take what we've just spoken about and turn it into an FM tactic. Let's see how it goes. And we are going to start off with his current team, that is going to be Manchester City, where we come out and put on an Invincible season, winning 29 games and drawing the other 9, enjoying football to the highest level. And funny enough, the 3 players in the top goal scorers are going to be Doku, Bernardo Silva and Jack Grealish. Notice, not a single striker really, so that just goes to show how this false 9 was sort of represented back in the day. The striker didn't really have much pressure to score the goals, it was to link up the play. We've got 3 average ratings coming in our favour, Rodri, Doku and Foden, and Phil Foden and De Bruyne occupy the first and third place when it comes to the most assists, with Ederson picking up the most clean sheets. Now stat-wise, we are going to feature in almost everything. Most clean sheets, fewest conceded. Possession-wise, we are going to be extremely dominant with 63% of the ball. The best pass completion, the most shots, the fewest shots against, the most goals and the most points per game. The only thing we didn't do was the most tackles, which would be impossible because we had the ball all the time, and the most dribbles being made, which of course would go against the way we are meant to be playing. So really, we won everything which we could potentially win with the style we want to be playing. Now of course the data hub as well is going to back this up. We are going to be looking at over 3 goals a game, 0.3 conceded, a fantastic amount of shots per game, a great pass completion at 91.19. It really was a season to remember. We also are going to win the FA Cup with 2 goals from Bernardo Silva, the first one coming in right now, very early on to be fair, into the second half, 60 minutes being played, and the last goal being a set piece against West Ham. On top of this, we also are going to win the Community Shield in 1-0 fashion against Arsenal. Carabao Cup, we beat bitter rivals Manchester United 2-1, a close game, but we got the job done. And the Super Cup, we are going to win 3-0 against Sevilla, so a very, very comfortable season indeed. For the seasons go, you're not really going to top it. What a start. And over to the team this was all about really. Barcelona, we put on a great season, only losing 2 games out of 38, winning the other 33, and of course, therefore, drawing 3 matches. Again, when it comes to the goal scorer, it's not going to be an all-and-out striker. Rafinha, with 21 goals, ranking us the 3rd top goal scorer in the league. We've got 3 players there in the average rating, which is going to feature Yamal as well, which is a really good player to have in there. Rafinha with the most assists, and ter Stegen with 16 clean sheets. Now, what I will say is, team stat-wise, most points per game at 2.68, most goals at 114, most shots, fewest shots against. When it comes to possession, rank 1 again, 64%. Most dribbles on this occasion is going to go in our favour, which did surprise me because we are certainly telling them not to do that, so that's quite unique. Fewest conceded and the most clean sheets. And to show you a little bit of detail, if we go down right now, we actually completed 23,511 passes. That is ridiculous. Now, the data hub is going to show like this: bang on 3 goals a game, 0.5 conceded, a great pass completion. Even though we weren't rank 1, 91.7 is still very, very high, and over 16 shots every single game. So we're going to win the Spanish Cup in 1-0 fashion against Atletico Madrid, and the Super Cup we are going to beat Real Madrid 2-1. So 2 very close finals. We do get the job done, making it the Spanish treble. We really did put on some great displays over this season, but towards the end of the season, we faced Villarreal away from home, where Rafinha put in an absolute lever of a goal into the top left inside of 8 minutes. It is now going to be Rafinha again linking up the play into Furman in the middle. Again, we're not afraid to get it into the box, not as in direct sort of approach, but we're not afraid to get the ball moving quickly is what I'm trying to say, as in De Jong is going to pick up the scraps there, and a set piece from Rafinha to finish things off. Lewandowski gets it done. Then to the last team he has managed, that is going to be FC Bayern, where we nearly go invincible again, like we did with Man City, winning 30 and drawing 3 games, a very comfortable season. And Harry Kane, an actual striker, is going to get the most goals with 25, Leroy Sané with 23. We've got 3 players in the average rating and 3 players with the most assists, and of course Manuel Neuer picking up the most clean sheets. Now, going over to the team overview, or the team detail should I say, we are going to have a little look at that. That is going to consist of this. So let's go and find it. Passes completed 19,000, so a little bit less than Barcelona, but regardless of that, still quite a fair amount of passes. Bayer Leverkusen actually do one up us, but I will show you that. I'm not going to hide it from you, but at the end of the day, Barcelona really did favour this system the best out of all the teams we are going to test with today. But still, data hub wise, 2.97 goals a game, 0.4 conceded, over 16 shots a game, and 91% pass completion. The question is, what else did we win? Well, unfortunately, somehow we did not win the Pokal. Stuttgart were the better team on the day. On the day, RB Leipzig were not the better team, though. We are also going to win the German Super Cup against them in 2-0 fashion. We win the Champions League against ourselves as Barcelona with Bayern in 1-0. So it's a bit of a weird one, but we got the job done. I'll show this for the Bayern fans because it was a game to remember. Against Dortmund, a 4-0 win with some great pass and play there from the back into midfield, with Sané finishing it off, which, to be fair, he had a great season. Absolutely burning past everyone there to get the second goal with 32 minutes on the clock. Another goal here just after half-time, or before half-time, is going to be Goretzka from a set piece. And one more goal in the 75th minute. Great pass and play through. So simple, so elegant. Now, of course, I hope it's your favourite part of the video. If you are enjoying back home, be sure to leave a like and subscribe. It's completely free. I do want to say, if you want to get all 3 of these tactics today, you want the console version and the mobile version, you want them early, you want rebuild files early as well, you want one-on-one tactical help, access to a massive group chat, and over £300 being given away this month in terms of money and other prizes. You can come over and join the Patreon in the description below, but we put on giveaways multiple times a month. There's so many things going on over there. You don't want to miss it out. There's over 4,500 people. So if you like FM, that is going to be your new home. But let's go over and talk about Pep's 2008 Barcelona. Starting with the goalkeeper, who is going to be a sweeper keeper set to attack, who is simply going to be set to pass it shorter. The wing back on the right is going to be set to support, on stay wider, and mark tighter. And of course, by default, naturally getting further forwards. We then go with 2 ball playing defenders, who are both going to share the same set of instructions, who are simply going to be on defend, on tackle harder, and mark tighter. Coming out, putting a challenge in. Of course, we went through it earlier. I want the players aggressive to win the ball back, usually within 5 to 10 seconds. And the wing back on the left is going to be set to support again, on stay wider, and mark tighter. Very similar to the right back, or in fact exactly the same. Now, as discussed in the build up at the start of the video, let me know what you think of that. By the way, that part of the video is new to the channel. A deep lying playmaker comes in on defend, on pass it shorter, close down, tackle harder, and mark tighter. Busquets plays this role incredibly well, and to be honest, he's probably one of the best DMs we've seen. The only player you can somewhat compare to him would be a Rodri now, in my opinion, which is still an argument for the ages. We then go with a central midfield player on support, on pass it shorter, get further forwards, run from the position, move into the channels, and close down more. Again, I want him closing down more to really win that ball back in midfield, and ideally, the higher up the better. Next to him is going to be an advanced playmaker. On attack, on pass it shorter, get further forwards and roam from the position. So a little bit more of an attacking player on that left-hand side. On the left, we've got an inside forwards on support. On sit narrower, tackle harder, and mark tighter. That's going to be exactly the same for the right-hand side as well. And of course, there was only one role we could use. That is going to be a false 9 on support, on shoot less often, roam from the position, and move into the channels. And for the attacking variant, that does change, so be sure to stick around for that. But let's go through the team instructions for the default tactic. So we are going to be basing this off a custom tiki-taka on the positive mentality. We are going to go all the way down to fairly narrow on this occasion. We are going to overlap left and overlap right, as we discussed in the intro of the video, while playing out from the back with a slightly higher tempo. I wouldn't say you need to max it out personally, in my opinion, with the directness of the passing going down to, of course, much shorter. We are also going to go with low crosses, work ball into the box, and dribble less, because that is going to get you playing like a prime 2008 Barcelona team managed by Pep Guardiola. Now in transition, we are going to go over and we are going to counter press. We're going to play to the centre backs while taking short goal kicks. Now we don't want to counter attack because we don't want to be too direct in our approach, neither do we really want to hold shape in this variant, so we are going to leave it like that for now. Now out of possession, of course, we did get a brief mention of it in the intro. The high defensive line is a much needed thing in this tactic. With the high press line of engagement, we're going to step up more. We are going to have a little bit of press on the goalkeeper, and we're also going to hit more often on the trigger press. Slightly more attacking variant of this is going to consist of the same goalkeeper. The wing back on the right and on the left are going to change a little bit. They are going to be on support, but with a few more instructions. Cross more often, run wide, stay wider, and mark tighter, with both of the ball-playing defenders remaining exactly the same. So the real change is initially going to be from the wing-backs being a little bit more attack-and-minded. The deep-lying playmaker pushes up a little bit from defend, onto support, on mark tighter, tackle harder, close down more, dribble less, and pass it shorter. So again, he's going to be pushed up a little bit more, but he's not going to really be too more direct, you know. He's not going to be playing long balls in behind, still playing it short because we are still a tiki-taka team. I don't want anything being too direct and sort of, you know, being an issue. Now we are going to go over box to box on the right, on support, on pass it shorter, get further forwards, move into the channels, and close down more. Similar to the central midfield player, but again, a box-to-box does go from box to box, as it says, so he's going to be a lot more attacking than a player that I do want to be doing that. And the Mazzala comes in a little bit more pushed up than an advanced playmaker and works a lot better in the game. To be honest, that is the main reason. With both of the inside forwards, the left and the right-hand side, being exactly the same, but being switched to attack instead of support, again, to push them up. And lastly, for the goals in the system, we are going to scrap the false 9 and bring in an advanced forward, obviously on attack, on take more risks and dribble more. So again, based off the custom tiki-taka, this time still on the positive mentality, we are going to go down to fairly narrow. We're going to play out from the back with overlapping left and overlapping right. The final third is going to remain exactly the same, set to low crosses with work ball into the box selected. We're going to dribble less, but this time we are also going to add be more expressive on. We are going to max out the tempo, but when it comes to the passing directness, we can't really change it because that is the way we're meant to be playing. In transition, one thing does change. This remains the same. This remains the same. This remains the same. Can you guess what it's going to be? Pretty obvious. We are, of course, going to start to get the ball moving a lot more quicker. Now, lastly, out of possession, we are going to decide to have the high press line of engagement. Step up more is going to remain. This is going to be set to more often. We are going to have this selected, but the real big change is no higher line, no lower line. A much higher defensive line is going to complete the attacking out of possession. Now, if you're possession mad, you want to really see how much possession you can get over an entire season, you're happy to sacrifice some goals, or you want to defend a game out, this is going to be your go-to. So the goalkeeper goes from attack to support, simply on pass it shorter. The wing-back on the right and on the left are going to be exactly the same, on support, on stay wider, and mark tighter, with both of the ball-playing defenders also remaining exactly the same. So I will say the back line now is incredibly sort of calm, not going to be too attacking, very, very composed players on the ball. We are going to get rid of the DLP and bring in a more defensive option in a DM on support with 5 custom instructions: mark tighter, tackle harder, close down more, dribble less, and pass it shorter. A Mazzala on support on the left, on pass it shorter, and a central midfield player there who simply, I want him to press, but I want him to be very risk-free when he's got the ball. So shoot less often, dribble less, take fewer risks, and pass it shorter. So he's going to be very aggressive winning the ball back, and when he has got it, very sensible with what he does with it. The inside forward, the left and on the right, are both going to be the same: pass it shorter, sit narrow, tackle harder, and mark tighter. And the false 9 comes in on support, on shoot less, run from the position, and move into the channels. So again, a tiki-taka on the balance this time, the balanced mentality. We are going to go down to fairly narrow. We're going to work the ball into the box with the low crosses. This never really needs to be changed. If you are desperate for a goal really late on, you could remove work ball into the box. But again, it sacrifices a little bit of that realism. We are going to play out from the back with a slightly lower tempo and much shorter directness. So again, a big change there. We are going to dribble less and we are going to be more disciplined. So this really is going to change the way we play. A lot more possession orientated. In fact, I'm going to say controlling because that's what it is. So if you are looking to play like that or you want to run the clock down a little bit, this is exactly the tactic for you. In transition, we are going to go with counter press. Hold the shape. Again, going to favour possession highly. We're going to slow the pace down while playing to the centre-back using short goal kicks. So again, it keeps a few things the same. So the counter press, the distribution type, for example. But now we are going to slow the pace down. When we've got the ball, we're going to hold our shape. And lastly, we are going to go still with the high defensive line and the high press and line of engagement. Very important the team is quite pushed up with the system. We are going to step up more. We are going to have this on, but on this occasion, we are going to leave the trigger press set to standard. But that's going to complete for you back home a default Pep 2008, an attacking and a defensive. Again, I would highly recommend coming over to the Patreon because you get over 13 exclusive perks. If you have enjoyed, a like would mean the absolute world. Comment below right now 2 teams you want to see their tactics of or a formation, anything you want to see. Keep it coming below and I'll see you in the next one.